Hey, welcome to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. I'm telling you, it's going to be an exciting show today. We're going to be, looking into your business and, really the things you got to look at. That's the most important things. One of the things we're going to talk about today, KPIs, key performance indicators. What are they? Why are they important? And how do they help you as a business owner understand what's going on? As a business owner, we have to understand how our business is functioning and why it's functioning, not just today, but tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter, next year. We've got to be able to plan. And that's one of the most important things as a business owner is understanding how to plan for my business to be successful. So today, we're going to get into that. We're going to dive into it. We're going to have a really good time. We got some great guests. We got some new guests. And we're going to go teach you how to track what you need to track in your business. So I'm Michael Ragier, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV. We'll be back and ready to go right after this.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper, but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm Michael Rager, your business host and business guide. We got a new member of our show today, Ramiro Cavazos. Ramiro, how are you today?
I'm great, Michael. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh man, it's pleasure's all mine. All right, you've got a pretty important gig going on. I mean, you're going back and forth from San Antonio to DC and supporting businesses. Tell a little bit to our viewers about what you do and what you're trying to help with the small business community.
Thanks, Mike. Well, we're headquartered in Washington, D.C., where most national associations are headquartered. We're literally across the street from the White House. Hispanic business is our main lane. We know Hispanics are different backgrounds, different religions. Some have been here more than 300 years in the U.S., and some crossed over last night or came in through, one of the ports of entry. And the story of this nation is really about free enterprise and economic development. And so our association represents 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses from around the country, more than 260 Hispanic chambers from Hawaii to Puerto Rico, Wisconsin down to South Texas and everywhere else. And we also work with more than 200 corporations. All of the Fortune 1000 firms are involved in working with us to make sure that they do more business with Latino-owned businesses. We're 20% of the population. 1 out of every 5 Americans considers themselves Hispanic, and we're Caucasian, Asian, Latino, Afro, and I'm just very excited about the young energy that this population is bringing. 63 million people, average age 29. We represent the present and the future of this nation's economy. And if we're going to succeed as a nation and create wealth and prosperity, we need to have a rising tide lift all boats. And so we exist primarily to support Hispanic businesses, do more business with Fortune 500 companies and the U.S. government, but not at the expense of anyone. We just feel that this is a community that's been underinvested in, financed and capitalized. The data backs it up. So we're just trying to get a seat at the table for everyone.
Awesome. So if somebody's got a new business, they're a Hispanic-run business, how do they connect with the chamber, and then what services will the chamber, provide them with to become a better business?
Well, Michael, it is about accessing services. Small businesses drive our economy during good times and bad. They're the businesses that sustain the job growth and the paying of taxes and the vibrancy. Small businesses are opening businesses in urban cores of communities that had lost a lot of their energy over the years. So they're bringing new life to our economy, and they bring innovation because they're hungry and they're young, and many of them are first generation businesses. We are seeing that they need three things primarily. They need access to capital. So if they need to get a hold of a bank or a community lender or an equity investor or other partners, our website, www.ushcc.com, is the best way to access capital services. We also help people with capacity building. We have about 30 programs to mentor people, train them how to be better marketers, how to put a capability statement together when they're trying to pitch their company to someone. And then the third C, we call it 3 Cs, capital, capacity building. Third C is connections. We work very hard to connect our companies and the U.S. government. The largest buying service in the world, very few people know, is our U.S. government through the Department of Defense and the other big departments like transportation. The bipartisan infrastructure bill was passed, close to $2 trillion. It's all good because we got to rebuild our aging infrastructure, but our businesses want to build those electric vehicle charging stations. And so it's about connections, capital, capacity building. Our chamber has programs to help people make those connections, and we're literally here to help our members grow. And at the end of the day, it's creating a wealthier nation and people who are paying their taxes and are operating in a free enterprise system where the hardest working and the most prepared businesses get rewarded. And that's the way this economy has become the largest economy in the world. And the Latino community helped build this nation. We're the first community to arrive here after Native Americans. The first language spoken was Spanish. The American symbol for the mighty dollar came from the Spanish peseta, the S with the 2 bars through it. That was the first capital in the American colonial period. The last thing is we have fought in every major American war to defend the liberty of this nation since the American colonial period. So these are Americans. These are the first Americans, and but yet many of them have still been left out of these economic opportunities. So we're here to correct those challenges and to provide people the support that they need. But we're open to help anyone, even if they're not Hispanic. We want to help all small businesses, and in that way we're ecumenical.
Well, that's awesome. So you mentioned, opportunities with the public sector. Of course, the U.S. government, huge employer. Where do you see major opportunities in the private sector for younger, evolving businesses?
Well, the one thing that I would say, Mike, that they need is to be in business at least 2 years. So they need to start their company and work hard, be good at something, and then be the best at selling that product and service. You've got to be able to sell your product and service. You can't wait for people to come to you. And so once you're in business at least 2 years, you can get certified with the U.S. government. And there's a program called the 8A program that is precisely set up to help businesses that are small businesses, women-owned businesses, businesses that are in categories that have successfully bid on a lot of work are cyber companies, companies that can manufacture, products and services for the U.S. Department of Defense. We want the Boeings to do well, and the Northrop Grumman companies that typically sell planes and jets to the U.S. government. But there's a second and third layer of services that people can provide the U.S. government, and that could be, any kind of service from staffing, from helping with, protect are digital assets with the U.S. government. It's people that have information and strength. Construction, a lot of construction projects, a lot of Latinos over-index in construction. So these types of services, transportation, infrastructure, any type of trade that is needed for these facilities that are being built, our businesses are ready to do that work. We're in from low tech to high tech companies, folks that know about electrical engineering and run their own architecture firm. They provide security at Latino-owned businesses at American embassies around the world, people who have that capability. There's so many travel services for the military and their families, in financial services, anything that the U.S. government needs, Latinos can provide, but they need that 8A certification. They need to have experience under their belt. And of course, they need the three C's: capital, capacity, and of course, connections, so they can deliver on those goods and products. The worst thing you can do is get a contract and let the government down and never be hired again. So our job is to make those connections. 3 times a year, we bring the U.S. government and Fortune 1000 firms like Nationwide and Google to meet these firms, and we find out in advance what those firms are looking for and those companies what they provide, and we're the matchmaker for them.
Well, that's awesome. I know I'm coaching a couple clients right now. They're both in construction, higher tech. One guy's out in San Antonio, your way. One guy's up here in Houston. It's great opportunities. Ramiro, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. It's been some great information. I'm looking forward to chatting with you again and making sure all of our viewers know about all the great work you do. For the small businesses and really helping them through the government to get more opportunities. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael, for the opportunity, and thank you for your leadership in the private sector also.
Awesome. Well, this is Michael Rager, your business guide. We're going to be back with Biz Talk TV right after this.
Oye, Lily dice que AT&T le da a todos las mejores ofertas.
Minus the air quotes.
Las mejores ofertas.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Te lo dije, aquí las mejores ofertas son para todos con una variedad de planes.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
En AT&T les damos a todos nuestras mejores ofertas en cada smartphone.
According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds. Homes and businesses without a reliable security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Alert 360 provides custom-tailored rock-solid security solutions to residential and commercial customers. Whether it's home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood protection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, 24/7 alarm monitoring, and life safety, Alert 360 is your ideal solution. In addition, Alert 360 has a smart home and business integrations like access control and video shield for a complete peace of mind, protecting what matters the most and reducing energy costs with our top-of-the-line automatic scheduling functions. Alert 360 offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Don't be a victim. Take a strong step today. Call Rosana Torres at 832-863-8574 for your free consultation.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV here on NowMedia Television. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. Next, we got our financial expert, Linda Chung. Linda, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So today we're going to talk about the most common mistakes people make when managing their finances. What are they?
One of the most common things I find, especially for entrepreneurs, is they're mixing, very bad no-no, they're mixing their personal and business, which is problematic for several reasons. If you do not separate your business and personal, meaning like you're commingling funds, your business income, business bank accounts, business credit cards with your personal ones, if you do not separate them, then guess what? Government, the banks, the IRS, other people do not consider them separate. And basically your personal assets are at risk for things that you're doing on your business, and which is unnecessary liability. They could go after your personal owned assets, such as your home, etc. So that is one of the biggest mistakes. So I recommend that people separate it. The second thing is they don't know the numbers. So business is all about, really important to know your numbers. Essentially, you have to know not a ton of numbers, but at least some basic numbers. And even if you're not a numbers person, it's really imperative to begin to learn how to become comfortable with numbers. And a few key numbers, it's really important. You want to know your income, the money coming in. You want to know your expenses, the money going out, legitimate, ordinary, recurring, normal business expenses. And you subtract your expenses from your income, and therefore that leaves you with profit. And at a basic level, you just want to make sure that you have a profit, that you know what that profit is, because if you're not profitable, that business is, in my opinion, not sustainable. You cannot, everyone has limited income or money resources. So you want to know and understand if you're operating a profitable business, maybe not from the day one, but at least have an understanding of how long it will take you to become profitable, is understanding that. And there's common also mistake number 3 is that people think, well, I'll just grow the business and become more profitable that way. That's kind of like saying, well, I'll have a boat and it has a leaky bucket, hole in it, and I'll just go faster. You're just going to become, a bigger problem, which is problematic. So really those are I would say the top 3 mistakes that I see, in terms of, running a business and becoming financially, smarter. So. And actually, I'll throw in a 4th one. The 4th one is really with respect to the expenses. You want to understand the return on your expenses. Really, you want to evaluate from a marketing and sales perspective. The more that you can invest in it, you want to understand how much money does this money make me? So if you don't understand or you don't keep track of how much money you're spending, you have no way of evaluating that if this is a good use of your funds. So some basic kind of understanding will help you as a business owner understand that you have a business that can be protected, the income, that also that you can scale and be profitable. And that also if you add more to the marketing dollars, then you know that you'll make XYZ more dollars. So it's really very important to kind of set up these good habits and systems from the sooner the better from day one, in my opinion.
Well, that's some really good information, Linda. So how do people get a hold of you when they want to find out more?
The easiest way to find me would be on Instagram, Linda Chung, Linda, Linda .Chung, CHUNG.official. You can just direct message me and I'll respond. And if you're interested in finding out how we help advise and coach and mentor people and have your own financial services business, that's what I do. That's what I love to do. Help grow people and their businesses, and also help them get out of debt in about half the time. So.
Well, that's awesome, Linda. Thanks so much. I'm looking forward to our next talk and learning some more. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide. We're going to be back with more Biz Talk TV right after this.
Tell me, are you looking to sell a house or buy a home? Hi, I'm Michelle Briggs, and your real estate needs are my priority. With over 2 decades worth of experience within the real estate industry, I know I can help. Whether you're selling a house and moving on to the next chapter or buying a home to create generational wealth for your family, I am the realtor for you. Call me now at 713-256-5465 and let me handle all of your real estate needs.
Working is risky, especially if you don't have the right attorney at your side. Hi, my name is Sonia Aston, and I'm an attorney with over 30 years of experience. I've helped small and medium-sized businesses and business owners to make sure that their legal rights and interests are protected. As general counsel for you and your organization, I can draft and review solid contracts, minimize the risk of litigation, review and prepare comprehensive business succession plans, or help you navigate your company with the local, state, and federal government. Take a decisive step today. I'm here to make sure your legal rights are protected and you have a peace of mind that you deserve.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. Hey, next we've got our legal experts, Mac and Natalia. They're going to talk a little bit today about Texas and Texas divorce laws. Take it away, Mac.
Hello and welcome again, and thank you for having us. And I think it will be good to talk about things that concern most of the people, and that would be how Texas divorce law works and how can people get divorced in Texas when it comes to that. Mark, can you tell us something about for informational purposes?
So for many people, a divorce is one of the biggest deals of their life. It could be life-shattering for many people. It could also affect their children in many ways, and it can affect your property. Sometimes, well, most of the time negatively, because you're going from two types, two pots of assets down to one and to a single life. So there's a lot involved when it comes to divorce. Basically, divorce in Texas, you have a right to file it as long as you've lived in the state for a certain number of months, in the county for a certain number of months. Once you've established jurisdiction and you file your divorce, then the court can grant your divorce no earlier than 2 months, with some exceptions. But once a divorce is filed, then, keep in mind it is a lawsuit. You are suing the other parent or the other spouse, and they can decide if they're going to treat it amicably or if they're going to contest things. And so many times people do amicable divorces where their goal is to try to resolve their disputes outside of court and just sign papers. But sometimes, especially for divorces where people have been married for a very long time, it becomes much more contested because you have homes involved, cars involved, you have retirement accounts involved, you have children involved in their interests because the court takes jurisdiction over your kids as well. And so the first question I think most people would have is the divorce going to be contested or uncontested, amicable or none? And so that then will decide for you which way your divorce is going to go.
And being already within the topic of the amicable divorce, how does mediation work within the divorce process? Is it advisable to do it beforehand if someone is interested, or can it be done within this process? How does it work? What's best?
So there is such a thing called pre-suit mediation, and that's where parties come together to mediate their case before a lawsuit is even filed. So for example, you're going to do a divorce, you've told your spouse, you are about to file the papers, but you decide, you know what, let's go talk to a mediator first, and let's see if we're able to resolve our differences before we even do the divorce case. And so in that situation, you contact a mediator like myself, and you book them with the other party, you agree on a date, You go to your mediation, typically lasts about 4 hours to 8 hours, depends on what the contested disputes are. And once you've addressed the issues and you are able to reach a full settlement agreement called a MSA, a mediated settlement agreement, then you can move on to actually filing a divorce. And the court, with a few exceptions, the court has to give you a judgment on that mediation agreement because it came into existence amicably, through confidence, and it was done by a third-party neutral who is in control of the process. And so as long as you satisfy the statutory requirements of mediation, then the court is going to give you a full resolution on it.
And let us imagine I already have the mediation agreement at hand, or the divorce judgment is already in front of me, and something changes in my life. Imagine I need to move to another state, or I need to start a job somewhere, and that will require more driving. I can't be taking care of the kid any longer within the times that were stipulated in the mediation agreement. What do I do? How could you help me?
So there is such a thing called modifications. If your situation changes, yes, you're able to go back to court or back to the mediation table and try to renegotiate the final agreement that you had done last time. Okay, so mediating modifications is something that's very common, but just make sure that there's actually been a changed situation that justifies it. In the law, we sometimes refer to it as a material and substantial change in circumstance. Something has to happen that triggers the statute to allow the judge to have power to come back and change the court order. Most of the time, it's easy if it's a child support modification because it's every 3 years typically. But if it's not a child support dispute, you have to modify. But let's say it's a divorce case and then you've resolved your divorce. Just remember that the court is only going to have a certain window of time where they can still touch a divorce judgment. Certainly they can touch the children's issues, but when it comes to property division, I mean, the court can't remarry you, okay, after your divorce. I mean, you do that yourself. But the judge cannot undo your divorce once they've granted your divorce. So unlike the child support and the child custody and child support modification issues, when it comes to a divorce, once you're divorced and your marriage is over. But of course, you can come back and get remarried if you so choose.
And tell me, the property division, I think that the biggest concern for many people is that, okay, exactly as you started telling me, I am coming out of this divorce and what, am I coming with nothing? How do I do that? Or what do I do with the community house, meaning the house we were both living in? What do I do with the mortgage? Are you able to help with that?
So the issues that are common in divorce do deal with property that encompass everything that's within the community estate, we call it. It's not just the wife's assets or the husband's assets. In marriage in Texas, it's the community's assets. And so, yes, all those assets can be divided and touched in a mediation, okay? But I think the most common problems we get when people come together is people want to keep something, or they want the other side not to be getting something, especially because there was some kind of crime that happened in the marriage. When I mean crime, I don't mean literal crimes, but quasi-crimes like adultery or cruelty, abandonment, things that can touch the heart, that can impact a person in a way that's very, very powerful, that can lead to depression. So sometimes people want to get a disproportionate share of property, like a house, for example, because something's been done to them by their spouse. So a lot of times these things can go to a judge who has to make a decision, but they can also be mediated. Anything, almost anything can be mediated. And so a lot of times we find ourselves resolving very, very sensitive topics and mediation. So if you're going to be talking about your sex life in front of a judge, if you're going to be talking about how somebody made you feel in front of a judge, in a courtroom where it's public, why don't you consider doing it at the mediation table first? That's what we're all about. conflict resolution specialists who try to help people resolve their differences outside of court, not just in front of a court.
And I want to ask you another question, which is also very important, I think, and concerns many people. What happens if we have children? How would the children be involved in the divorce proceedings here in Texas?
So it's a very big question that we can't get too much involved into, but suffice to say this. Once children are in a marriage, the court then has power over them through jurisdiction when a divorce is taking place. And so those issues as well, when you're dealing with paternity, conservatorship, child support.
Contacts?
Well, contacts, we call it in some countries, but in Texas we call it possession and access or visitation. And so all the issues, all the issues can be dealt with at mediation, and it's up to you to make it happen by connecting the other party, connecting the other parent, having them know about the mediator like myself, and then they'll be able to go to the mediation table and hopefully settle. If they can't settle, that's okay. That's what we have a judge for. But the potential ways this could resolve, you could get a full agreement, you can get no agreement, you can get a temporary agreement, a partial agreement, or a recess, where you come back to mediation after you go sleep on things, because people need it sometimes. It's a lot of life-changing decisions you gotta make, and we want to help you make a good decision.
And this is what we wanted to say to you as independent lawyers and mediators. We would want you to go to our website and check what we can do for you, or see some more informational materials we have, the blogs. But also, please go to our YouTube channel at LMI Podcast, where we are discussing some more issues regarding Polish as well, but also and primarily Texan family law, including all those aspects and elements we have just been discussing: child support, property division, or even prenuptial agreements. So be there, be with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, thanks a lot, Mac and Natalia. That was some great information. This is Michael Rager, your business guide here on NowMedia TV. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper, but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner, offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. All right, it's that time again. The great Leo Simpson. Leo, how are you today, my friend?
Very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. All right, so we got a pretty interesting topic today. The ticking time bomb of work-life balance.
Yep.
Come on. So why is the time bomb ticking, my friend?
It's ticking because we're committed to a pursuit that's in the context of insanity, and it's ready to go off. And I'll tell you why. So we've talked about this before, but this is a little more in depth. So work is a type of life, just like family is a type of life, friendship is a type of life, all those different things. And so to call it work-life balance, you're really trying to balance one thing. So how can you balance one thing? You can't. You need two particular opposing objects in order to do that. And the reason that I bring that up is it's communicating that balance is the wrong measure. And we've got to understand while family, business, in many instances have their intangibles, in order to understand if it's working, you've got to have a tangible measure to be able to look at it. You guys were talking about KPIs a little earlier. And this is a very important indicator such that it does fall into the context of a key performance indicator, but it becomes more of an intangible measure that you've got to give regard to like you're looking at a tangible measure. And that is, you've got to consider, is balance the right scale, the right measure, the right way to consider whether or not things are working well in our family and our business dynamic. So let's tease it out for a moment, just real quick. So let's suggest that life is the aspect of family that we're talking about, and work is the aspect of career, profession, etc. Well, think about it. Can you really balance these two? Well, in order to balance, you need equality on both sides. You need the same amount of time, energy, effort, resources in order for them to achieve equilibrium. That's not possible with these two because, one, they're not designed to operate that way, nor are they in a position to where they can at any point in time be able to work together within the context of the balance. So now they become opposing forces. And as opposing forces, now you have this ticking time bomb where something is going to go lacking. Somebody's going to get frustrated. Somebody's going to say, you know what? Forget this family thing, or forget this relationship, forget these aspects. I'm going to just focus on my career. It works. And that's tragic. That right there does not just affect the family life. It affects the business life because it puts people in a position and on a trajectory to where they create this lack of confidence and trustworthiness with themselves and others that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Well, but why is work-life balance still encouraged, and why do people pursue it and coaches try to help you do it? One, but two is, what should we be looking at besides that?
Okay, so hypnotic rhythm. And I say that because I've been thinking about Napoleon Hill in regard to this. Another way to describe hypnotic rhythm is habit. But hypnotic rhythm it's a rhythm that you're in without thinking about it. It's a rhythm that's been established as a result of a practice and a rehearsing over a long period of time. And the fact that we've been in a rhythm of work-life balance, work-life balance, work-life balance, that's what we've been talking about. We get the concept, we understand what we're trying to achieve, but what happens is when we use improper measures, it disrupts the continuity of our subconscious and our conscious, and therefore causes us to pursue things in a way that we don't get the results. And if we keep pursuing the results, not getting the results, that's insanity, but we keep doing it because the people who are in positions of influence continue to tell us to pursue that without challenging really whether or not this measure or this approach actually works. So what should we be looking at? First and foremost, we need to be honest with ourselves and say we're not achieving work-life balance. This does not work. This does not happen. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with a guy who was 57, had been in the corporate environment for 35 plus years. And he said, I found myself for the first time thinking about my work life and my family life appropriately because you challenged me to think about it differently and told me what it should look like. So here's what it should look like. Family life and business life should be teammates, not opponents, which means get them off of the measure or off of the scale of balance and put them on the continuity structure of a circle so that they flow into and out of one another. They operate in the context of unity and they still have their independence, yet are able to be dependent. But what do we call that? We call that family, business, life, mastery. to where there's a mastery in business, there's a mastery in family, but there's a mastery between the two, to where the keys to success, the master keys to achieving that particular pursuit is able to be predictable all the time.
I get it. And, you know, as a business owner and a family man, you know, I got a son. It's more about quality time. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Business is way more quantity.
Yes.
Your family has to be more quality. And they weigh different, right? You know, it's
absolutely
a pound of feathers and a pound of, you know, of iron. The amount is way different, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And see, you talked about it briefly and touched on it. And that is that family life requires more of a quality of time than a quantity of time. And business life requires more of a quantity of time than a quality. And that's because, one, there's source of life, but two, there's also the engagement of intellect and intimacy in the context of family life. There's relationship there that has an element of mutuality, whereas in business, it primarily receives. Yes, it does reciprocate, but it reciprocates based on what's receiving. Whatever is done in family, something can be given in family life, even if there's not a reciprocation. So the one directional impact and effect is so profound because there can be value given and received, but there's value given that can be a reception in and of itself. And see, here's one of the things. I was listening to somebody yesterday and they talked about how children will never be able to love their parents as much as their parents love them until, if for some reason a parent's health or, you know, body fails them in some way, and the children get to love those parents and take care of those parents the way that those parents took care of those children. And that's a picture of the depth of family. Now watch this. When a parent, just in that particular relationship, when a parent focuses on a child in the quality of time, the very uniqueness of making sure they have what they need, providing them the value and the growth that's necessary for them to be what they're capable of being, that child has the ability to reciprocate that, not necessarily directly to them, but in the context of the contribution in an exponential way that they make in life. And so when, just at the level of parenting, when parents really understand the value that they give to their children by making sure that the quality moments that they have, that they, really give them a depth of value and growth and encouragement and building just in those quality moments, not every moment of the day, but just in the moments you have, it causes them to be a quality contributor in their lives beyond what they can learn in the classroom, whether they're homeschooled, private schooled, public schooled, or whatever the case may be. So when it comes down to it, we've got to have the right perspective about it, but understand we're using the right tools as well.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, we got to wrap this one up. This has been a good segment today, Leo. How do people get a hold of you?
Team30.com, and you can get to me in various other respects there.
All right. Well, man, I love it. I love it, Leo. It's awesome. Every week we get on, we have some great discussion. Work-life balance. It's a myth. So I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on NowMedia Television. We'll be back right after this.
Working to have the right attorney at your side. Hi, my name is Sonia Aston, and I'm an attorney with over 30 years of experience. I've helped small and medium-sized businesses and business owners to make sure that their legal rights and interests are protected. As general counsel for you and your organization, I can draft and review solid contracts, minimize the risk of litigation, review and prepare comprehensive business succession plans, or help you navigate your company with the local, state, and federal government. Take a decisive step today. I'm here to make sure your legal rights are protected and you have a peace of mind that you deserve.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our Success Operating System will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success. Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager, here on the NowMedia Television networks. Hey, it's that time again. We're going to start talking about marketing. We got our good friend, Afa Roach. Afa, how are you today?
I'm super good. Thank you for having me back again. Great to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too. So we're going to talk a little bit about creating a strong brand identity. So why is that important? What's so important about brand identity?
Yeah, so the first thing we need to clarify, your brand is not your logo, right? It is not your colors, it is not your website, it's not any of those things. And that's where I think so many people get confused. But I did my logo. I'm like, that's not what this is about. Your brand is about your values, your brand is about your voice, your brand is about your identity, and your brand is about your story. And those are, for me, the key elements when anytime that I'm talking to anyone who's talking to me about branding. They're the things that we need to identify because we want to figure out what makes you different to everybody else. And it's what we call the unique selling proposition. So branding for me is your ability to craft a USP that makes you stand out from the crowd.
No, I love it. I love it. You know, USP is something I teach all my clients as well. And we get there, and I get so many people that are focused like you do. Oh my God, my brand's this. You know, we've got our new company, Whiteboards and Whiskey, you know, and everybody's like, oh my God, the brand's great. It's like, you don't even know what the brand is. You just saw our gold logo and black and everything. You need to kind of come out and experience it because your brand is like who you are, how you treat your customers, what people think about you, right? It's not the pretty things.
That's it. And like I say, I have that acronym and it's VIBS. So it's, you know, what are your values? You know, what is your voice? What is your story? And what is your identity? Okay. So they're like the values are who you are and how you show up as a person and as a business owner, as a company. And those will trickle down into the business because how you do one thing is how you do everything. The identity then is much more around the core values, not only of you, but how you identify yourself in the market. Are you aiming to be a market leader? Are you aiming to be a disruptor? Are you aiming just to be someone who's, you know, some people position as the lowest cost? What's your identity in the market? And then we start to look at the story. Why you? Out of anyone that you could work with, why are you the best person? Why is your company the best person? And I often find with businesses, when I ask them that question, I'm like, what differentiates you from your competition? Sometimes you can be met with a little bit of a blank face, but they're like, well, we sell the same products and services, but I'm slightly different because I have a different range. That's not branding. Branding is knowing exactly what you do that makes you superior to everyone around you, and then when you can communicate and articulate that message in a succinct format, then people are more likely going to want to do business with you.
Yeah, I love it. I'll ask that same question a lot. What makes you different? Oh, we got better customer service. And I tell my potential clients, if your competitors can say that, it's nothing different. You know, I give this story, I don't know if you know, I grew up in the Midwest, right? And beer, you can tell by my shape, beer was very popular where I grew up. But like back, it was like the late 50s, early 60s, there was Blatz, Miller, and I can't remember the other, Pabst, I think, right now. And Blatz came out with a branding campaign that said, we only use fresh, clean, pure Lake Michigan water. They were the first ones that do it, you know, and they ended up dominating because of that. Coors did it. You know, and there's other breweries out there and they use the same water. They just said it first and they were to get there. So how do you use some of those things to, you know, help your business owners understand that's what they're looking for? That's what your consumer's looking for.
Like I'm in a space at the moment, I'm doing a lot in the AI space with the evolution of ChatGPT, right? So now as a marketing agency owner, everybody's talking about ChatGPT. Everyone is giving you prompts and formulas and courses and workshops and all of that. So if I was to position myself that my brand is that I do help people integrate ChatGPT, that's not really a unique selling proposition. What I've looked at doing is now I'm looking at how I'm helping them to integrate several different technologies where ChatGPT is just the first point in the ecosystem, and then that ecosystem is feeding everything else. That makes me slightly different. Now, you could say, how do you figure out what your brand is? That's when you kind of have to go inward. You have to sit down and really think about, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And what do I want to bring to the table? And you'll be very surprised if you actually ask yourself those probing questions, how quickly the answer can come to you about how you are different. The mistake people make, they go into marketing agency, find my brand. Your brand is who you are, not who I tell you to be. And the more that you can connect to who you are, the more authentically you're going to show up, the more people are going to actually resonate with you, because they're going to believe what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, we've got it in our two brands, the two companies. We got, the whiteboards and whiskey. That's very different. Our Teach Your Business to Fish. We're very different. We're very who. We know who we are. We know what we do. And we know who we serve. And we're not trying to serve everybody. We talked about that, I think, a few weeks ago. If you serve everybody, you serve no one. And you don't have to serve a whole bunch of people. And if you can tweak that, you can actually charge a lot more, can't you?
That's it, exactly. We mentioned about this previously, the fact that 80% of your revenue will come from your 20% of the clients. And then what you want to look at is, you want to look at that 20%, what problems do I solve for them?
Yep.
And you only need 4 or 5 people who are in the top 20% to have a multi-6-figure, multi-7-figure business. What happens, and the challenge is like exactly what you say, trying to go out and market or to everyone without a solid branding message around who they are and what they do. The faster that you can get really, really clear on not only what we've talked about previously, the avatar of, you said it perfectly, who do I serve? Who do I want to work with? And then of that group of people that I want to work with, what is the most painful problem that they have that I can solve that's going to get me paid the most amount of money? And doing that, and if you can kind of really niche into, the riches are in the niches, I say to my clients, the riches are in the niches. You want to find that particular pain point that those business owners have that are in the 20%, and then find the 20% and the 20% and go vertical on that.
Oh, you just stole my next line. I was going to use that same line. My coach was hitting me with it this week. My coach Mike out in San Diego was hitting me that out. He goes, all right, here's who we are. Because I'm a guy, I don't really focus on an industry niche. With the Teach Your Business to Fish, it's a problem niche. So it is getting over your first million. Getting over your first 5 million. Those are big things in businesses that I see are big issues, because they bring up some really head trash, in business owners. So how can they, person that's starting out, how do you help coach them through to figure out their brand?
Yeah, so the first kind of part of one of the strategies, one of the main steps, is we sit down and we ask them, what's the brand story? Like literally sitting down and listening to the business owner, where have you come from and what is it? And what's the reason behind you actually want to create this company? If someone comes to me and they have a brand, creating a brand, and it's purely driven by money, I'm like, you're going to get exhausted really, really quick, because the money may not come for a while. So at least craft a business around a brand that you're actually going to enjoy doing, because you're going to be putting in, people think it's about the money, but it's really not, because when you're working 60, 80 hours a week as an entrepreneur, I can tell you it's not about the money, because you don't have the time to even spend the money. So you've got to find something that you're really, really passionate about. So when I'm working with business owners, I really try to establish in the beginning whether or not I feel that the brand that they're trying to create is going to have longevity, and whether it in fact, and also whether it's a sellable solution. Sometimes we can fall in love with our ideas and think it's a great idea, and it's not a good idea. You know what I mean? It might be a good idea in your head, but is it actually something that people are going to buy? So that's the next thing we look at. Is there a demand in the market? Is it a want or is it a need? Right now in the current climate, I'm really advising people to go into need markets. I don't think you should be spending too much time in the want markets, especially if you're starting out. You need to find a market that's a need, and then be very clear on why you want to do it, and then craft your brand story around that. And the more that you do that, the more success you're going to create.
That's awesome. I love it. It's the same things I teach. So it's good to have somebody I can start passing things off and go execute. I don't execute crap. I mean, that's what it is. I don't do anything. I go fishing, I smoke cigars, and drink whiskey.
That's perfect.
Kind of
and
awful.
I do the work.
Somebody's got to get paid to have that fun.
Yeah.
So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
So you can go and visit my website. It's www.attentiongrabbersusa.com. You can book a discovery call with me. We offer a free discovery call. You can also find me on social media, Instagram, Aoife J. Roach, or on LinkedIn is really my wheelhouse. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn discussing different ideas, and we do LinkedIn audios and LinkedIn lives on Tuesdays. So that's another way that you'll be able to connect with me.
Well, man, that's great. I just love it. Yeah, that website's just scrolling. All right, everybody, there's some good information today. We're always going to be coming back with Aoife to get some more and some more and some more, because this is great stuff. If you're a small business owner, you need to listen. This is Michael Rager, your business guide and host here on Biz Talk TV, here on the NowMedia Television networks. We're going to see more right after this.
Stop and think. How often do you take the time to set goals? And when you set those goals, how often do you hit them? The problem is the word goal setting. We all have goals, but goals are just wishes. Goals are what we want. What we really need is called result setting. My name is Katrin Becker, and what I do is create tailor-made result plans that ensure people will hit their targets. If you are committed for real results, let's chat and see which program is right for you and your team. Goals are just what we want, but together, results are what we will achieve.
Hey, welcome back. I'm telling you, that was a great show today. We learned some really good things. I'm telling you, learning about the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce today, that was interesting. I just didn't know exactly what that organization did. And I'm telling you, if you're a business owner and you're looking to work with the Hispanic community, you need to get there and learn from these people. The other thing is, if you're a Hispanic business owner, there's tools there for you to go ahead and be successful. Talked about KPIs today. We talked about understanding that bombshell that's going on and it's ticking in your business. We also learned a little bit about, hey, if something goes wrong in your marriage, how to take care of it. So remember, what we learned today was we've got to understand what's going on. There's options out there in our business, and there's things that we're able to do to always become successful. So I'm Michael Rager, your business guide. We'll see you next week. Go out there, enjoy it, and make yourself a lot of money.
This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Hey, this is Michael Rager, the host of Biz Talk TV with Michael Rager. Make sure you join us every day, 5 p.m. Central Time on all NowMedia channels and social media platforms.
Bienvenidos a Interior Bar Houston, el bar más vibrante de Downtown en la ciudad de Houston. En Interior, la fiesta nunca para. Nuestro DJ de clase mundial te mantendrá bailando toda la noche con la mejor música de hoy y de siempre. Además, aquí encontrarás las mejores bebidas y cócteles. En Interior, nuestro ambiente electrizante y nuestro equipo amigable te asegurarán una noche que nunca olvidarás. Te esperamos de 9:30 a 2 de la mañana. Interior, donde la diversión nunca se detiene.
En vivo desde Houston, la ciudad espacial. Esto es NowMedia Televisión. En vivo desde Houston, la ciudad espacial. Esto es NowMedia Televisión.